The downfall of the Democrats. The truth about the 2024 election. I'm curious what Shu has to say on this. Let's get into it. Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris will struggle to win unless she speaks to the long-neglected working class. And she did not speak to the long-neglected working class.
Election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
We're gonna win. Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The reason why Latinos voted for Trump is very simple. They're citizens. They're legal citizens. Which is why nothing's gonna happen to them. This is why he got the support.
Kamala Harris is not winning.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is no.
A white monster again. It tastes like piss. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. Oh, man. It's gonna be good.
Well, well, well. What have we learned? Nothing, apparently. I regret to inform you, everything I predicted about the election in my last video came true, and more. Men did overwhelmingly turn out for Trump, especially young men. But I was wrong about one thing. Young men weren't the only—
Yeah, I've heard to a lot of people that I follow on Twitter, I've heard of them, that they have never seen that many young men ever vote, like, ever at all. So, Democrats, if you want to win, speak to the young men, because if you don't, you will lose next time as well.
Only ones who came out in droves for Trump. Nearly everyone did. The madman took everything, every swing state, Pennsylvania, Georgia, my home state, New York, was closer to flipping red than Florida was to flipping blue. Turns out Dick Cheney as Brat wasn't the best message to win over voters. Dems did so bad it really had me thinking, damn, did we steal that election? So what happened here? How did it go so wrong?
As far as I'm aware, Democrats had 18 million more voters in 2020 than they have now. So I can't tell.
Is it too late for the Democratic Party, or can they turn this around? Will the Democrats learn from this, or will they double down and get worse? In this video, I'm going to go through all the excuses and the copes the Democrats and the broader left are coming up with to avoid accountability. Read some silly tweets, watch some silly news clips, and even give the Democratic Party some advice on how to win 2028. Don't worry, Republicans watching this. They won't listen. Maybe in 2050, under the barren Trump monarchy, someone might come to their senses, but not anytime soon. If you only watched or read most mainstream liberal news, it really seemed like Kamala had this in the bag, which is why you should try to get your news from a variety of different sources. Oh, that reminds me. Before we dive into this Donald Trump overperformed in nearly every state, with basically every demographic, and the entire country seems to be shifting more red. Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. with democracy. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video from new fags like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the Democrats? Yeah, man, that's a pretty...
I know a lot of left-wing people that dislike the Democrats as well. This is nothing new, because the Democratic Party isn't necessarily left. They're more like LARPing as leftists, but not really.
Common thing. If you're shocked that I'm left-wing, maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists, no. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists. But for those of you who are new here, hello, I am Shoe on Head. If you ask the right wing, I am Stalin. If you ask the left wing, I am Hitler. Fiscally far left.
Imagine being both. Hated by both sides, loved by no one. That is interesting.
Left, culturally centrist, socially retarded. But if you really must put me in a box, it's not that hard to pin me down. I'm a populist. Think Huey Long if he was a 5'3" Italian New Yorker woman, who still did her hair and makeup like it was 2008. Put a pin in that Huey Long name, by the way. He's gonna come up later. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. My political awakening was jibjab.com. The first time I voted for Obama. I was ready for that hope and change. Instead, we got the crushing of Occupy Wall Street and more drone strikes. And from there, it only got worse. I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016, and I watched as the Democrats...
Loved by no one, disagree. That's usually when you hated by both sides. Maybe I'm just projecting because that's actually me. When I voted for the first time, I voted for the Free Democrats here in Germany. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake.
Democratic Party did everything in their power to destroy this man twice. So it is safe to say I am a little biased when it comes to the Democratic Party, but I don't think I've hated them more than I do right now. The truth is, my last video was way meaner and way harsher than the final product turned out to be. When I showed the video to my assistant, he basically had an intervention with me and he was like, listen, you need to soften this up a bit. It's a few days before the election. You went too hard. Well, the election is over. And I'm sorry, River, but I'm going hard. You idiots.
It's already starting. Yeah, they were idiots. They were idiots. That's just the harsh truth. I think if Harris, just like Trump, went to like all these different podcasts and actually tried not to talk nonsense, she could have had this in the bag. Actually, if she actually went, like, we can look at like interviews. She did barely any interviews. I think actually that no interviews, no not going to any podcasts. I think that actually hurt. I'm loved by everyone. No, not everyone. I'm still here.
You morons. You imbeciles. Kamala Harris? Really? That's who you threw up there? The one who dropped out before Iowa? The one who got blown the f*** out by Tulsi Gabbard? Why didn't you hold a primary? Aren't you the f***ing saviors of democracy? Where the f*** was the democracy? Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't f***ing work. The DNC completely neutered that f***ing guy, reduced him.
Damn. That's an angry shoe. Oh, okay. Okay.
To this weird token white man. Hello, fellow men, I too play football. But hey, men weren't the only demographic you completely dropped the ball with. Trump made incredible gains with women, too. Oh, and all those never-Trumpers you tried to court? The people who like the old, respectable GOP? You know, the old, respectable GOP that led us into a pointless war that cost us trillions of dollars and millions of lives. But we're at least nice on Twitter. That GOP. Yeah, they didn't come out and vote for your ass either. So you got Liz Cheney to tag along for what? For f***ing what? You raised $1 billion?
If women stop voted less for the Democrats than usual. That is very apparent that something is wrong. Because the trend is that women vote more leftist, more liberal. That is the trend. If women don't do that, then you're kind of in trouble. You kind of messed up. You can tell that you messed up then.
And ended up 20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe you should have blown it all on celebrity appearances that did nothing. Or
yeah, she assembled the... Thank you for the sub, I didn't see it! Shit! My bad! Wait, I need to see this. Who subbed? I can't see it. Shit.
maybe he was spending 6 figures on a single-use set for the Call Her...
But yeah, back to it. She assembled the Avengers. Didn't do anything. She got Megan Thee Stallion, I think is she called, on stage, twerking. Like, what are you supposed to achieve with that? Her interviews were like... She's like... Not, like, she didn't say anything. Like, you can quite literally just, like... You can get clips of her, like, where she says absolute nonsense, where she does not get to the point at all. Like, there's a clip out there where she said, part of what we need to do is what we need, prioritize what we need to do. Nonsense! What are you talking about?
Daddy podcast that didn't even hit 1 million views. I want to see a full audit of this campaign, because I wouldn't be surprised if this was all like a big money laundering scheme, because honestly, that makes more sense than this being a legitimate presidential campaign. Then, they had the audacity to beg their supporters for money after she lost. How about you? How about every DNC consultant should have this map sewn onto the inside of their eyelids? May they never have a peaceful wink of sleep for the rest of their miserable lives. So that is how
I like Angry Shoe. I do like Angry Shoe on it. Oh my god.
I feel about the whole situation. But what do Democrats and the media think? What do they think the Harris campaign did wrong? Why do they think Kamala lost?
I think Harris ran a really good campaign. If there's one person I do not blame for this loss, it is Vice President Harris.
This is gonna be a long fucking video. The media this morning saying Dems need to have a reckoning. No, we don't. We can't be blamed because we expected Americans to be who they always claim they are. Democrats don't have a messaging problem. America has a racism problem. Kamala ran a flawless campaign in 100 days.
Why is it all... Maybe it's because just I live by the rule of radical responsibility, and like the things that happen to me and don't happen to me are my fault, so I can't get it. Why, like, these people always blame anybody but themselves? You are at fault. It's harsh, but you are at fault for that result. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you. This has nothing to do with racism.
And I refuse to let y'all gaslight me into believing anything other than that. She lost because she's a woman, and a black one at that.
I mean, this really...
Is she even black? Isn't she Indian? Or both? Maybe I'm just wrong, but no, she did not lose because she was a woman.
Really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign.
Listen, I'm no political analyst, but losing seems like a pretty big flaw. Truly, don't overthink it. It's because she's a woman, she's a black woman. Don't overthink it. In fact, don't think about it at all.
And Kamala Harris lived up to our dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. she ran a remarkable 107-day emergency campaign full of joy and hope.
Kamala Harris was the perfect candidate, and she ran a beautiful campaign of joy, empathy, and unity. Joy and empathy and unity doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. No wonder Republicans had incredible turnout and so many Democrats stayed home. This isn't Steven's universe. You just can't, like, joy and empathy and unity your way out of not being able to afford food for your family.
It's pretty much just like Bernie Sanders said. And I still think they did that man dirty. I still think they did that man dirty. But, you alienated the working class. And the working class said, it was better under Trump. It can get much worse. Guess I'll be voting Trump.
CNN has a story titled, Where the Harris Campaign Went Wrong. Nope, I won't read it. Harris ran a great campaign. The story should be titled, Where the American People Went Wrong. La la la, I can't hear you, la 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 la, I can't hear you, it's not me, it's you, la 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 la. The cope is unreal here. They don't even want to listen to criticism. They really think they did absolutely nothing.
Damn, they're like Ubisoft or Sony. I think a lot of people have a problem with admitting that they're wrong. Yes. Yes. And that's why they're always gonna lose. In any field, to be fair. Because, like, how can you grow if you can't even accept criticism?
Wrong. They only see this as a Trump win and not a Democrat failure. Kamala Harris was not a flawed candidate. America is a flawed country. This incredible tweet here is from Shannon Watts, who is on the board of Emerge America, which is an organization that, quote, shows Democratic women how to run for office. Yeah, we're never getting a female president.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her.
Wow. What the f is this Make-A-Wish president shit? Like she's a little kid who wants to play pretend. Oh, just let her for a few days. What?
Like, why would I spend so much money, go on a dozen of podcasts, have a lot of celebrity supporters, and, like, internet people that support me, and then I'd hand it over to somebody else? Realistically, if you win something, would you give it to the loser? If you worked hard for it? I don't think so. And you look at the 180 and always blames himself. I am always at fault at everything. Always. Regardless of what it is. That's just me.
Please tell me we're not gonna get the first female president out of pity. Well done, America. You failed them both. The people cannot let politicians down. That's not how this works. As a politician, you are not owed anyone's vote. You have to earn it, and evidently she didn't earn it. We already went through this in 2016. Donald Trump beat both female candidates. Donald Iron Ceiling Trump. It's not our
Iron ceiling, the glass ceiling, remember?
fault the female candidates you're putting up are dog shit. Give us some good female candidates and maybe people will vote for them. At this rate, the first female president is going to be a Republican. Mark my words, it's bound to happen. And if it doesn't happen, this was a joke. One of the groups that showed up overwhelmingly for Trump.
Avoiding the cancellation, I see. I'll be honest, I really wouldn't surprised. Would be surprised. Hello. I really wouldn't be surprised, like, whatsoever, if it actually was a Republican woman.
Was Latinos. One of the major stories of the results is the significant surge in support for Trump among Latino voters. Trump nearly erased the Democratic advantage in this group, narrowing the gap from 33 points to just 8. Democrats gonna build the wall 50 times higher after that one. We have to have a very, very uncomfortable conversation about Latino voters in this.
They're gonna help him build the wall, it appears. Wow. But remember, you also need to take into consideration that even the black community voted more for Trump than like usual. Like for Republican than usual. You have to take that into consideration as well.
country. Me watching him deport the Latinos and the Arab Americans after they voted for him. And f*** Cinco de Mayo.
Racism. We love to see it. Guess they are not that inclusive. They're only inclusive if they win, apparently. Like, you don't have to stoop that low.
To all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family, whether you...
He can't. If they are legal citizens. He can't. He quite literally can't.
We're here legally or not. You gotta go.
I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members.
Donald Trump's strongest soldiers. Spiteful liberals.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the, no, it's why. On the border.
It's
the border.
Eh? I know Latino women that voted for Trump. Is that misogyny as well? Eh? That's a literal ass pull.
Crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
Another demographic for people that overwhelmingly showed up to vote against Kamala were Muslims. In a Michigan-specific poll of 502 registered Muslim voters, Stein got 59% support, followed by Trump at 22%, and Harris with a tiny 14% of the vote. The results show significant backlash to the Biden administration's handling of Israel's brutal war in Gaza, which has killed at least 43,508 Palestinians, including more than 16,765 children, as well as how the Harris campaign...
I still think that war is so stupid. On both sides. They should both be absolutely slapped.
chose to tackle the issue. So how exactly did they tackle that issue? Why, sending that old pervert freak Bill Clinton up to Michigan to talk down to Muslims about Palestine.
I understand why young...
The approach is shut down. Damn, Bill Clinton is that old? Oh my god. He's really...
Palestinian and Arab Americans in Michigan think too many people have died. I get that. But
Muslims really said, we hate you more than the guy that talked about a Muslim ban. Just a side note, look at this fucking guy. It's like he hasn't had his daily dose of adrenochrome in a week. Someone get this man a fresh child stat. Muslims, Latinos, who else are we gonna blame? Ah yes, women. Yes, Trump improved with young men, but he drew in young women too.
Wow, look at that. 52% of all women who look like me are f***ing stupid.
Despite making abortion the #1 issue in her campaign, despite Brat Summer, despite the white women for Harris Zoom calls, and most of all despite the Taylor Swift endorsement, Harris only managed to get +8 with women. Despite it all, many women came out to support Trump, especially Gen Z women. In 2020, 30% of young women voted for Trump. In 2024, 40% of young women voted for Trump.
There's hope? There's hope! There's hope for the ladies. Interesting. That's very interesting. Maybe Zoomers are based. Maybe, you know, maybe my, bad opinions about Zoomer people aren't that wrong. Are wrong. Not that wrong, wrong.
In fact, so many women voted for him that women on TikTok started wearing blue bracelets to signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Swifties, I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets, so we know who we can trust.
Yeah. Anyway, some young women in response to Trump's victory are starting to get into the 4B movement. A movement started in South Korea. Basically MGTOW for women. Women giving up on dating men, having sex with men, having babies, marriage, whatever.
They can all go 4B. For me, that makes no difference. That literally does not affect me.
We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
Cancel all future plans with men. 4B is where it's at. Use their own stupid traditional views against them. Say that you don't want sex before marriage. Say that you are waiting for the right man. They will be seething because they are sexually dependent on women who they call sluts.
Cave woman discovers celibacy for the first time. It's like they discovered fire. It's crazy. Oh man. Can we have red bracelets? Sure. Like, see, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. Give them what they voted for. I see no issue with that. I see that as an absolute huge W. So really, they just discovered fire. Celibacy.
See, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. Give them what they voted for. So conservatives won the election and women are threatening to not sleep around. It kind of seems like the conservatives won a little more than just the election. I might do a whole video on the 4B movement. Tell me if you're interested in that. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm still waiting for that VTuber video. I'm still waiting. Where is it?
Young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. Nick Sumners, a 21-year-old cosmetic car repairman from Virginia, says he is pro-choice, but when he voted in the 2024 presidential election, he did so for Donald Trump. Despite his personal beliefs, he says that Trump talks about the American people in a way that resonates with him, without, in his opinion, faulting him for his gender and sexual orientation. I'm a straight white man, and I feel like we take the blame for a lot of things. Of course there are bad guys, he adds, insisting that he's not one of them just because he voted for Trump, but what appealed to him about Donald Trump was that his campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as. Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with it. When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying. We're not racist, we're not misogynistic, we're just normal people, and we are friends with everyone. We're tired of hearing a lot of this BS from a lot on the far left.
And it's not that much different here in Germany, right? Where it's the exact same thing, where men are being told that we are at fault for everything. Bitch, I don't even leave the house that much anymore.
I feel like there's this cultural frustration that young men have that they're not allowed to be young men. I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats you MAGA scum alive. I hope you feel a hole in your soul.
Already has.
And feel unloved until your dying day. I hope
already do.
You rot in your deathbed, wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last time.
They already do.
Unfortunately, the all men suck branding just isn't good for getting men to ally with you. Oh no, it can't be! Is that the consequences of my own actions? Yes, the reasonable and rational men know you aren't talking about them, but maybe it's time to realize that most men aren't reasonable and rational. How do you speak to young men when they're literally Nazis? Why are
What is this? I am once again an Austrian painter supporter. And I haven't even done anything. What is this? What is this? What am I watching? There is no wonder you lost. With that kind of messaging?
Gen Z males the f***ing Hitler youth. How do we get young men to get on board with the young men eat shit and die movement? Hear me out. Maybe not calling them Hitler Youth? After the election, a YouTuber I am subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men, and I was excited to see his take. But then it comes time to talk about men's issues, and this is how he did it.
But this is the part where I want to enter the male loneliness epidemic. I know. We're all tired of hearing.
The entire idea of the male loneliness epidemic is it's this idea that really centers men and men's feelings. The premise is of quite a flawed premise to begin with.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this. I do. Unpopular though it is on the left to like give grace to the male loneliness epidemic. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm picking my words carefully so the leftists don't murder me. Like, don't rake me over the coals for this. But I think that I understand as much as I can understand a heterosexual man.
Yeah, I think we found the answer to the video title. I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues. You see the issue? If you can't talk about this without having to walk on eggshells in fear of your own allies ripping your head off, maybe that is part of the reason men are moving right. Also, I feel like this is really important to say.
Yep. On the right, I can't talk about this. On the left, I can, because I'm supposed to be the privileged white man. White, straight man. What do I do with that? Like, at the same time, you want me to talk about my feelings, but at the same time, you don't want me. What do I do? It really gets annoying how they use serious topics just to insult people. Yes. Yeah. Don't agree with me, and I will use serious insults to serious topics to insult you. That's how this works.
I don't think all these men are moving right. I think just a lot of them hate the Democratic Party and feel alienated from the left. So what was the overwhelming takeaway from the Democrats and the left? To actually start listening to men? No, of course not. Instead, their solution once again seems to be... we need a liberal Joe Rogan. We need a liberal Joe Rogan, ASAP. We need a left-wing Rogan. Democrats are gonna keep losing until they have their own Joe Rogan, their own Elon Musk, until they create their own alternative to Fox News. People saying Harris should have done Joe Rogan are missing the point. That wouldn't have helped her. Liberals need to build their own Joe Rogan. Oh my god, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan. But he was too edgy, too problematic, said too many no-no words, talked to too many no-no people about no-no topics, and in 2020, when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat journalist class freaked the f*** out and smeared him for weeks. The left can't have a Joe Rogan, because everything that makes Joe Rogan, is not allowed on the left. Kamala Harris ditched Joe Rogan podcast interview over progressive backlash fears. So Joe Rogan was too problematic? But Liz Cheney was fine? Listen, you don't need a leftist Joe Rogan or liberal Joe Rogan. You just need leftists and liberals to go on Joe Rogan. And that means not giving a shit about being cancelled by...
I mean, there's so many men listening to Joe Rogan. She should have used that opportunity. That would have much more benefited her. And not just go there unprepared, how she always seems to be. But that's just me.
Your own movement.
Look, you can have an argument with Rogan, agree with him, disagree with him, but what's the problem going on those shows? I got vilified by some of the Democratic establishment because I went on Rogan's show. Now a lot of other people are doing just that.
Anyways, liberals should start doing podcasts and TikToks and whatever aimed at setting the youth straight. Ah yes, there's nothing the youth enjoy more than being set straight.
We don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great.
Who is Joe Rogan? He does podcasts. He talks a lot. He's pretty much he does just podcasts. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Just Google it, man.
To live with a strong woman who makes money, it's actually easier. Life is easier.
We're gonna be...
That logic is flawed. And it is flawed because the more money a woman makes, the more less likely she is to, first of all, have a partner at all. Second of all, find a partner that is suitable for her, because women usually prefer men who make more money than them. The problem, however, is that men perform currently worse than women, so women that are more successful have less options. It doesn't work. This would only work if they are either equal or pay, this does only work if men are paid equal or more. Otherwise, this does not work. It just like, you'd have to uplift men so they could even get into relationships with women that are more successful. That's just how it is. Society, we live in a society.
Be under Republican rule for the next 100 years, aren't we? Trump's win leaves Democrats asking, where are our bro whisperers? We have to make entertaining, engaging content that men want to watch and care about. Then, over time, you pepper in more progressive views. So you want to start a normal podcast, and then start sprinkling.
So just a normal person? He pretty much is just a normal person. Pretty much just average American.
In propaganda? Should you even be saying this out loud? Dems need to seriously put all their money into creating propaganda network to compete with the right's massive amount of propaganda. Democrats need their own propaganda machine, and I'm not even joking a little bit. First of all, again, I don't think we need better propaganda is something you should be saying out loud. Second of all, Democrats already have that, and have had it for decades. It's called Hollywood. It's called every celebrity, every institution, every piece of media, from movies to video games. Every celebrity from Beyonce to Taylor Swift endorsed her. She had Cardi.
True. Didn't she also have Eminem there? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. Like, there was enough, in quotes, propaganda, and she still lost. Guess what? The men don't care.
Cardi B at all her rallies. She got the fucking Avengers together.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlet. Wow, Trump is literally Thanos. By the way, with all these like journalists and people talking about how we need a
I would say actually that makes it more fun to, that makes it probably more interesting to vote for Trump because he's Thanos.
Liberal Andrew Tate, liberal Joe Rogan. Yeah, be prepared to see some of the most forced, overproduced, astroturfed streamers and YouTubers to pop up overnight and subtly or not so subtly start shilling for the Democratic Party. You're gonna start seeing funded DNC plants all over YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, because they really do think the answer to all of this is more podcasts. All the funding in the world won't buy you an audience. You could have $1 million set and the best sound and video equipment ever, but it will not buy you a large and dedicated audience. I've been using a Mac laptop webcam and a shitty snowball mic for over 10 years, and you idiots keep coming back for some reason. And listen, it's 2024. Y'all have a camera.
Hey! I just got insulted! Dislike. Banned. Unsubscribed. How dare you? Called me an idiot. And frankly, you guys, chat.
Camera and a microphone. Be the liberal Joe Rogan you want to see in the world. But the thing is, if people can hear your opinions when they turn on the TV, they're not gonna watch your shit. People tune into alt media to hear alt opinions. Even the most popular leftist streamers, like Hassan for example, spend a lot of time criticizing the Democratic Party. So it's gonna be hard to build some kind of like Democrat shill Joe Rogan. But I can't wait to see you try. After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did. My influence.
She's too powerful. She needs to be stopped. She can get people to remove their pronouns. That's crazy. Shionette is too good to not to watch. Truth, I agree.
Anyway, after the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted for Trump for president on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. But also you signified change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. Loved ones say you're both straightforward and challenging corruption and broken government. Because it's different than what has been the last 4 years. Something had to go. I feel that you both are outsiders compared to the rest of DC and less establishment. Voted Trump, but I like you and Bernie. I don't trust either party establishment politicians. The replies, of course, were full of people like, these idiots, these morons, these fools. Most depressing shit I've ever seen. These people sound dumb as hell. Such staggering ignorance and stupidity. The median voter. I hate the median voter. I want to destroy the median voter. Why is the median voter this stupid? I hate the median voter. How could this be real?
And then the median voters can continue being a median voter.
Americans really are the dumbest gentlemen on earth. This is giving me a headache. I don't understand the median voter. Listen, it's really not that hard to understand. It's populism, honey. It's why when I went to January 6th and told a bunch of boomers I was a Bernie supporter, a ton of them reacted like this.
I think he's one of the few honest people I think he's honest. He beat Hillary Clinton. And he would have beat Joe Biden, too.
People hate empty suits that sound like they're constantly reading from a script.
True, true. If you're not real, I don't really care about you, to be fair. Like, about your opinions. I don't like both Democrats and Republicans. One is about immigration, the other is abortion, abortion. I think abortion should only be illegal under certain circumstances. If it happened consensual, you're gonna have the child, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Immigration, in the other hand, is they need to be deported, become a migrant, and have a green card. I don't know. I think that when it comes to immigration, if you are in a country illegally, you should be deported. That doesn't mean you can't come back. It just means that you have to do it legally. If you want to come into a country, those laws are there for a reason. Do it legally. And of course, if you're illegal here and in a country and you commit crimes, bye-bye, good riddance. That is your own fault. You had the possibility to choose, and you chose wrong. And when it comes, yeah, that's my view on it.
They want someone who tells it like it is. Someone who fights for the everyman, or at least sounds like they do.
How are you feeling about Trump's upcoming presidency, Trump 2?
I voted for him.
Oh, you like AOC?
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
Yeah. Remember one thing about why people voted for Trump. They want change.
The average American voter despises the establishment and will vote for anyone who promises to destroy it. And the fact that none of you understand this is a big reason why you lost and will continue to lose until you do understand it. Capiche? The beatings will continue until the populism improves. How could people have voted for this felon? How could they vote for Trump, especially after January 6th, where he led a bunch of his supporters to destroy that beautiful shining beacon of hope? Well, first of all, you have to understand that that's not a shining beacon of hope to most people. That is a dirty, disgusting brothel that sold out the future of their children and will probably send them into the next world war. After all the indictments, the mugshots, the committees, the documentaries, people clearly don't care about January 6th. And that might scare some people, but the truth is, a politician that promises safety and affordable food can do 100 January 6s. It's kind of like FDR said. Democracy has disappeared in several other great nations, not because the people of those nations dislike democracy, but because they had grown tired of unemployment and insecurity, of seeing their children hungry while they sat helpless in the face of government confusion and government weakness through lack of leadership. Finally, in desperation, they chose to—
I find it funny how what the United States has right now is also going to happen a lot probably in Europe, because in Europe we face the exact same problems. We have a government that's we have governments that are absolutely useless. So the right-wing parties are getting more support because they offer safety, a way to feed your family, housing, all that stuff. So I'm starting to see more parallels. Trump must seal the border by the end of his office by 2029, while Trump Jr. will build the wall in Canada. We need to build a wall. Yeah. I think yeah, they need to fix the border. They really need to fix the border. We need to fix our border as well. Because we have the same problem. Why did Trump choose that wall? It's so claimable. They need to change it and make the wall unclimbable. I agree. Well, they also need to send away, like, deport illegal immigrants. Either you come here legally, either you come into the United States legally, or you're committing a crime.
To sacrifice liberty in hope of getting something to eat. Speaking of FDR, let's talk a little bit about the guy that FDR stole a bunch of his ideas from, shall we? Someone who the modern Democratic Party should probably try and learn from. That's right, I finally found an excuse to talk about my favorite politician. The man, the myth, the legend, the kingfish himself, Huey Long. Huey Long was the 40th governor of Louisiana from 1928 to 1932. He was a populist member of the Democratic Party and rose to national prominence during the Great Depression. He took on big oil and Wall Street and drastically helped lift Louisiana out of poverty. Long had many supporters and haters.
What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? 40s, 20 to 40s, shoe on head is crazy. We need more walls in Europe too. Get the illegal immigrants out. True, I agree. Just more secure borders. Get the illegal immigrants out. Don't give them any weird passports so they can come back when they're here again, because that was what Germany's doing. At least Philippines don't need a wall. You got the ocean.
And to this day is celebrated as a populist champion of the people, and at the same time, denounced as a fascist demagogue. To give you a better idea of who Huey was, here are some quotes from the man himself. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with only one dish. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side, and a set of Democratic waiters on the other. But no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen. The only difference I ever found between the Democratic leadership and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up, and the other from the ear down. But Huey Long wasn't some enlightened centrist, no. The man firmly had a side, and that side was the people. I'm for the poor man. All poor men. Black and white. They all gotta have a chance. They gotta have a home, a job, a decent education for their children. Every man a king. That's my slogan. When asked if he cared about the bad press he got, Huey replied,
Interesting. That's like I said how to say in the How to Save America video before I watched that. When I said the way to save all countries is to serve your people instead of some weird agenda that you want to push. Curious how we're back at this again.
all I care about is what the boys at the forks of the creek think of me. And when Big Oil threatened to leave Louisiana, he said, if they gotta leave, they can go to hell and stay there. They don't make politicians like this anymore. Politicians used to be like mob bosses. Now they go on Call Her Daddy podcasts. Sad. Huey had many powerful enemies, and because of this, he was assassinated in 1935. His last words were allegedly, God, don't let me die. I have so much to do. There's a lot of talk online right now about how we need a Joe Rogan for the left and Andrew Tate for the left, but there's
Please no Andrew Tate for the left. Please no. That wouldn't... Does he also get the hose? I'm just asking.
There's also talk about how we need a Donald Trump for the left, and well, Huey Long was exactly that. And to be completely honest, I don't think you people could handle a Donald Trump for the left. You couldn't even handle Bernie Sanders. You called him a sexist and a racist and did everything in your power to crush him and keep him down. But unlike Bernie, Huey Long wouldn't just lay down and take it. Huey Long would scare the shit out of the modern Democratic Party. But if there's anyone they need to take a lesson from, it's him. Alright, time to get out of this costume. I feel like an old hooer. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class had abandoned them. Bernie Sanders said in a statement about the results of Tuesday's election, while the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interest and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn?
I mean, you can just look at the storms, right? Remember about one of the storms that that destroyed a lot of, like, homes? What did the government do to support the people that lost their homes? You guessed it. Absolutely nothing. Like, would you support somebody that clearly shows you the middle finger when you are in crisis? Instead, you sent money to a foreign war. But yeah. That's why I'm central wing or independent. I would say that I'm conservative. I would say that. With some leftist ideas. I would say I'm normal. How about that?
Learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic power? Probably not. All the groups that Sanders originally courted, young people, Latinos, the working class, are gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats' working class exodus sets off reckoning within party.
Bernie Sanders is correct. You don't look after, you just don't take care of like those really rich mega corporations. Like, how could you have BlackRock and Vanguard have control of the housing market? This is atrocious. I don't think Trump will do anything either, though. Or maybe he does, I don't know. We'll see about that.
Who have long prided themselves as the party for the little guy, instead strengthened their emerging base of financially secure college graduates this election, while a growing number of blue-collar voters embraced Trump and Republicans. Especially alarming for Democrats this election, the exodus of working-class voters from the Democratic Party included not just white voters, but helped Trump make gains with Latino and black men. This realignment crystallized a political reality that is tough for Democrats to swallow. With blue-collar voters flocking away from their party over multiple election cycles, Democrats' refashioned base is becoming more upper-class, urban, suburban, and coastal. It's a narrowed coalition that does not bode well for future elections. To put things into perspective, the Trump coalition is closer to the Obama coalition than the Harris one is.
What the heck? What happened? What happened here? At least you're not a Confederate that supports slavery. That fact that that there's people exist that still support slavery is first of all mind-boggling. Second of all, just no slavery, thank you, ever. Poker runs as Prime Minister of Germany. Never. Absolutely not.
That is crazy. That is wild. That is what we call a potential party switch. And I don't really care about how many leftists or Democrats cope about this. We have better union policies, we have better wages policy. Yeah, that might be true, and I agree, but we don't get to decide who the party of the working class is. The working class does. And if exit polls are anything to go by, basic left-wing economic policy is still incredibly popular. People just hate the Democratic Party. White men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. First of all, white men without college degrees built this country, bitch. Second of all, this is apparently a real Democratic Party strategist saying this. You want to know how to win 2028? Step 1. Stop listening to freaks like this. The election, if having a degree was a requirement to vote. And this is what the election would look like.
Are they calling people without degrees stupid again? God, they are. This is the result, because you call people without degrees stupid. That's the result.
Like if everyone was allowed to vote. Oh wait, that's this election. I too hate democracy.
And I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America?
Democrats have a smug problem. The day after the election, an NBC News chart circulated on Instagram that highlighting exit poll data showing that the more education you had, the more likely you would vote for Vice President Kamala Harris over President-elect Donald Trump. Some liberals used the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet Trump's victory was both definitive and diverse. He won broad swaths of the electorate,
Who would have guessed that the... Who would have guessed that the party that supports, or allegedly, we don't know yet, right? But allegedly, wants to support the workers, gets more voters. Because the voters are poor, because the voters are struggling. Then the rich people then can get a degree. Who would have guessed that that would happen?
Making significant gains in New York and California, and winning over larger percentages of Latino voters and young voters than in 2020. He also won a majority of first-time voters. Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that patronizing, visceral vibe is obvious. It's a massive turnoff to many other voters. It is a mountain smug Democrats have to overcome if they want to reconnect with voters. Once, the
Men are lizards? Your daddy's a wet lizard.
coastal liberal establishment had an air of open-mindedness, but now these elites have evolved into the provincial, narrow-minded scolds they once critiqued. All their education has narrowed their worldview. Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is right now. Even coming from some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know better and spend a lot of their time trying to bring people to the left. Your college degree does not make you any smarter than a working class person without a college degree. And more importantly, don't talk down to a vast majority of the population, because despite how badly you want to believe it, they are not stupid.
They're not stupid, they just voted for what benefits them. And the Republicans is what benefits them. That's very simple. Conservatives are more cleaner than liberals. Conservatives tie and clean their room. Liberals are just messy. They currently very much are. Ravens and lizards, true. Well, they're technically related to reptiles, right? Because dinosaurs. Trump didn't make America great again. He made America stupid again. True.
They're the people who grow your food, build your houses, pave your roads, fix the plumbing in your luxury apartments. And guess what? There are more of them than there are of you. So maybe you people should start listening to them instead of wagging your finger in their faces as if disagreeing with you is some moral failing, because it's not. These people aren't all racists and Nazis or whatever. They are normal people. They are the proletariat. They're who you should be fighting for. And they don't believe you are fighting for them. More importantly, there is a difference between being educated and being smart. IQ isn't just about how many books you read or how many words you know. A lot of it is about pattern recognition, and boy did I recognize some patterns here. Maybe you guys should have listened.
Yeah, IQ does not mean that you are intelligent. Well, it does mean you pattern recognition, memorizing things, right? Stuff like that. Well, it does say you are technically more capable of things, right? But you can still achieve great things without a degree. Make Germany great again. I would love to, because this country is terrible, in a terrible state.
Listen to the bimbo with populist brain rot, because she seemed to be right about a lot of this. If the Democratic Party wants to win another election, they need to start understanding the importance of populism. Drop the divisive identity politics and focus on the bread and butter issues, or you are doomed. Become the party of Huey Long again, or you are doomed. But you know what? Maybe you're not doomed. Because if Trump fails to deliver on his promises, or we get like George Bush 3, it's totally possible that the populism vacuum will be open again. Will the Democrats take advantage of this and actually put up a good candidate? No. They're gonna put up like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and the populism vacuum will be filled by people like my Twitter mutual and soon-to-be Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. That is still so weird. What do I do with this power? Hey, JD, best buddy, I have—
There's no way. She's a Twitter mutual with JD Vance. That is new information. I did not know that. How did Trump like the Taliban? Most Republicans are mad at Trump because of that. It's horrible for America. It is. It's horrible for the people that that live there anyways.
Have an idea. It's called Patriot Care, and it's healthcare, but our tax dollars go to it instead of bombs. Doesn't that sound cool? If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The fact is, this election was a complete rejection of the liberal ideology. Or it was just because of inflation and people want to afford eggs again. Yeah, it was probably that. It just kind of sucks to see the party you voted for your whole life, the party you grew up with, just get worse and worse over time. After this, the Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna...
That's how I feel with the Christian party here in Germany. Because they got worse over time. Originally starting in 2015, they're starting to make a comeback, but they're gonna go down back the same way again. They're like bait and switch.
Gonna become like the new neocons, but gay. And I have no idea how a second Trump term is gonna go. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Congrats to RFK, I guess. I'll see you guys in the Adderall labor camps. Otherwise known as the concentration camps. Get it? Okay. Anyway, so that is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Why do you think Trump won? And what could the Democrats do to win 2028? Anyway, if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Also,
well, that's the end of the video, but let's keep it short. Well, first of all, let's look at Trump and Harris. Harris, credentials. Vice president. That's it. Failed at the border. That's pretty much it. Trump, former president. That is already a lot more. Another reason, the campaigns. She did not do any interviews. She did not do any podcasts. Well, one. But that's about it. And when she talks, it's pretty much just not nonsense. Trump talks to the people quite literally said, "I will fight for you." Like, what is there much to say? They tried to delete him. That was a lot. That was very much just advertisement for him, especially that shot where he just like stands and says "fight." He did not. He talks about the American people, not just about specific groups. It's very apparent the people decided what is better for them.